Today we're going to be learning how to do the knockout method in Cricut Design Space. This is the project that we're going to be working with today. I made some trick-or-treat Halloween bags for my boys, and I wanted to have a picture of what they were being inside of some words. So you write the words, and I'm going to show you how to put that image inside. So let's go ahead and just get rid of all of this here, and let's get started. You're going to want to go over and pick a text. I like to use the impact font because it's very chunky and big, and it works really well for this kind of thing. There we go. All right, I chose to write trick or treat, smell my feet, because I have all boys. I thought that would be funny. So go ahead and get your text on there. Okay, now we want to make sure that all of the letters are as close together as possible. The closer they are, it just kind of helps it look like you can see the picture a lot better. So I'm going to go up here to letter space and make that smaller and bring all of those letters in closer together. The line spacing doesn't matter right now because I'm going to adjust a few size things really quick here. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and unlock this, right click and ungroup. This will make all of my letters individual, like you can see over here on the right hand side. So I'm going to drag and select over these two letters because I want them to move as one. And I'm going to scoot that over a little bit closer where I like it. Now I don't know how steady I was, so I'm going to select both of those words, come up here to a line, and a line at the top. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Bring this one in a little bit closer. Select those two, a line at the top. All right, now I wanted to make these all kind of fit and line up on the sides. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger and this one, oops, do that. Go ahead and actually attach each row. This will just help as you're adjusting that things don't get messed up. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick treat, and I want that big. I want them to kind of be about the same. So I'm going to put this over here on a line just so I can kind of see where we're at here. Kind of match them up from this line to this line. Do the same thing with this row. And again with this last row. Okay, now I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to go up to a line, and we're going to center horizontally. That way they all kind of make sure they're lined up straight and even. Now, in order to slice out our images, we're going to have to make this be one image. You cannot slice when you have several different layers. So in order to do that, we are going to have to weld these words all together. So make sure they're right where you want them before you do that step. And to do that, you can just right click and weld. Okay, now you can see over here on the right that we are working with one image now, just like that. Now, I was going to make some trick-or-treat bags for this activity, so I went ahead and chose a square, the size that the bags were, just so I can have a template to kind of go off of. Now my bag is 14 by 14, so I'm just going to make it that size here. And my bag is like a cream kind of color. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and send that to the back. Now I can use this square as a template to know how big I would like to make my image. I'm going to do it about 8.5 by 11. Okay, I think that looks good. Now you don't need this square, it's not necessary for anything, so I'm going to just go ahead and hide it over here with the eyeball on the right hand side. Okay, now we need to get our image that we want to slice into our words. Go ahead and select image. If you search Avengers, you will be able to find this Iron Man image or any image that you choose. Now, if you choose an image like this that you can see there's several different shades of color, you're probably going to want to make sure that they're just one color, one layer per color. So over here on the right hand side, I'm just going to start turning off some of these that don't seem to be necessary, so that I in turn only end up with the two colors, yellow and red. So once I like the way that it looks, I'm just going to go over here and right click and delete on each of these layers that I don't want anymore, that I hid, just to make it look a little easier to see over here. Okay, so there we go. So like I said before, you can only slice one image at a time, but we do want to size, we want to see what size we want our Iron Man to be all together. So we're going to go ahead and drag it over and size it however you would like, one layer at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup these two, and we're going to start with the red first. So I will drag the yellow part over here, select both of these images, right click and slice. All right, so over here you can see that it created several different layers, which we do not want. So the letters that were black before, we want to get rid of those. If you click on that layer and you right click, send it to the front, you can easily drag it over and remove those letters. And you can just delete that. That's not necessary anymore. And now we want to remove this background that's not on a letter. We want to also remove that layer. So if you go over here, you can tell which one it is. It's this one. You can either just test it by dragging it away, or you can send it to the front so it's the top layer and it will be the one that you grab. And you want to drag that away. And you can also delete that. Okay, so there you go. We have our red section. We have our black letters, and now we just need to do our yellow. So I want to make sure I drag my, I'm going to send him to the front because as you can see, he's in the back, and that's a little bit harder to see. So right click, send to front. All right, now you're going to want to go ahead and position him where you want him, and I think that looked good. And once you have him in place, you're going to go ahead and click on the red, and you need to drag the red away. And you don't want to delete that one because we need to put all three pieces back together. So once we have this image on here, you're going to do the same thing that you did, select both images and slice. Same as before, we need to remove the black letters that were previously there. If you send them to the front, you can easily grab them to remove. And now we need to remove this background space. So sometimes it's hard to see, but it looks like it's this one. I'm going to send it to the front just so it's the top one that I grab. Go ahead and remove that. All right, now we're going to put both of our letters, both of our colors back together. If you just drag here and kind of line that right up. Just like that. Okay, now you can see that it still says trick or treat, smell my feet, but here we have the Iron Man cut into it. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.